Hi there, everybody. It's Brandy over at mycentralfloridafamily.com, and I wanted to share a few things with you about our experience at the Magic Kingdom grand reopening today. It was, now that I'm home and cleaned up and thinking straight, I am a mom and I am a germaphobe, so I am very careful. Not just with the pandemic, but anytime. I'm very careful about touch points and about things that I expose myself or my family to. So going to Disney today was a little bit stressful for me, I'll be honest with you. So I'm gonna give you kind of my rundown of our experience today based on how sensitive and how careful I am when it comes to this pandemic with my family. First of all, we did not take the kids today. I ended up going with my mother. We arrived probably around 10 o'clock, and mostly because she was with me, we didn't want to get there right at rope drop like we normally would, because we sort of wanted the crowds to go in and get comfortable and do their thing before we got there. We did have to pick up our tickets at the guest services desk, and as always, that's a little bit more crowded there, but they did a great job with social distancing, keeping 6 feet, and people were adhering to that, which was great. And the line moved pretty quickly, all things considered, so they were on top of their game today for sure. We loved the transition through the front gates. They don't take your thumbprint anymore, which is nice, so there's no touch point there. Just hold your ticket up and go. So as long as you get the green light, you're good to go. So upon entering the park, of course, the first thing we noticed is the smaller crowds. There were probably a few more people than you might have seen online from the previous annual pass holders and the cast member preview, but not by much. I never really got any wide open empty shots, but they were pretty close. So plenty of room to move around, plenty of room to stay away from people, which made me very happy. One of the first things we noticed was the new castle. When we went in, it is beautiful. I hope the plan is to keep it that way for a long time, because the colors really do it justice, and it was made for some really beautiful pictures. We also saw that the lines were done really well. They had tapes down to show what 6 feet apart looked like, which was nice, so that everyone could keep their distance. If you have a large party, you might want to take up 2 of those. That was one thing I noticed in the guest relations line, is it might have been nice to have 1 person per party. I saw one party with 8 people going up, and that just makes for more people in a line that don't need to be there. So if you have a big party, maybe consider taking up 2 or 3 of those spots, depending on how big your party is. Also, the trash cans. One of my favorite parts is the trash cans. The lids are already up. So when you have to throw stuff away and you have to hold that lid up, to me as a germaphobe, it is so gross. I never touch trash cans. But it was nice that someone actually thought to pin those right up so you never have to touch them, which I thought was a fantastic idea. I did see people wiping things down, which was nice. So handles, doors, trash cans, a lot of the touch points were being wiped down. Now, again, for me, because I'm so stringent, I never trust that. Not to say that they're not doing a perfect job and they're keeping those germs away, but for me, anytime if I did have to hold a door, I would use my shirt or my elbow if I was going out a door. And if I do have to touch anything with my hands, of course, I just use my antibacterial right away. So something to keep in mind there, but they do have people wiping down doors and different touch points. I do love the hand washing stations that you'll find throughout the park. So if you do feel like, I felt like with the antibacterial wipes that your hands can get a little sticky and a little gross, especially with as humid as it is out. They have hand washing stations, which is nice. So if you just want that water and soap feel, which to me feels really good, you can sit there and wash your hands very easily throughout the park. They are wiping down the rides. They do that regularly, so touch points on the rides. I will be honest, we didn't do any rides today. Again, I am extreme germ issue, and with everything going on, I was perfectly happy just being there, hearing the sounds and tasting the food and smelling the food, and just being wrapped up in the magic. That I didn't need a ride to make my day special. Of course, if I had taken my children, that would have been a different story. But we did stop specifically to see them wiping down rides and making sure, again, that all those touch points are safe for you and your family. Again, just my recommendation, they do a really great job with having antibacterial lotion when you get on the ride in the queue line and when you get off. So if you want to take that extra step, they put it there, which is fantastic. Go ahead and use that. We saw a lot of people using it, which is great. The only areas that were really, they can't control is the free range area. So, just walking around Disney in general. You know what it's like if you've been there before. There are people who are not paying attention. They're on their phones. They're turning around talking to their family members, and they're not watching where they're going. And sometimes they got a little close. I took solace in knowing that we all had masks on. That was very helpful. If they didn't have masks on, that would have concerned me more, but we didn't see anyone not wearing their mask. And I think that they did a great job with that. And if anybody got too close, the nice thing about it was in most parts of the park, there was plenty of room to sort of step to the side or get away from them. Yeah, there's a few little tight spots over in Adventureland. But for the most part, plenty of room to get around anybody that felt like they needed to step a little close to you or they just weren't paying attention. One thing is nice is they have one way in, one way out. Of the shops, of any food places. That we went into the bakery on Main Street. They had one way in, one way out. So everybody's moving in the same direction. You're not crossing paths with somebody as you walk by them. So that was very comforting as well. You will find that there are some shops closed. There are some food carts closed, some restaurants closed. We were going to go eat at Casey's Corner and we got to Main Street and it was already closed, or it was closed for this, which is to be expected. They have fewer guests. So I get it. They don't need all that staffing there. But so that was, Pecos Bills is open and a lot of your favorite places are open, but there are some food carts and stuff. So, just have to plan ahead. Use the Disney app. That's how you're going to order your food. So you just order it and then they'll call your name and you pick it up there at the location. So that's really nice. No touch points, no interaction. That is perfect for someone like me for sure. The shops that are there, that is, we did go into the shops at Main Street to look around and we saw a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but we saw people and just like anytime you're in the shops, it's nowhere as bad as it normally is. But there are people that are aimlessly wandering or they see that Baby Yoda and they just want to go right to it. And they're not paying attention necessarily to what's around you. So I did find that a little more difficult to navigate. But me being always attentive, I was able to sort of see the path that I wanted to go down to stay away from people that were walking aimlessly through the shops. But that was probably the only part that was a little difficult for me. I didn't end up buying anything, but I don't mind because I'm on Shop Disney every day. So the strollers, normally parking for strollers is immense, takes up so much room. That was down to a minimum. There were no lines to rent strollers or wheelchairs, so that was really nice if you're doing any of those renting. The characters, so they're not doing fireworks, they're not doing stage shows, they're not doing parades because they don't want people to gather. Again, very smart. So what they are doing is they're having marching band, character floats. Gaston will come down the street on one of the horses. And so they've just got a unique way of putting out a character or two or three at a time on one float at a time, or a horse at a time. And I thought that was really well done. We actually saw Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, Tinkerbell, some of the princesses, the marching band. So we saw quite a few of the characters without even having to stand in line or do meet and greets, or wait out in the heat for a long parade. So we would be walking and they would just come by, and that was really kind of cool experience. They do have plenty of signage reminding you to social distance and to wash your hands and to wear your mask. They'll come on with announcements telling you to make sure you have your mask on and just kind of reminding you of the social distancing, which is really nice, as those reminders are definitely needed. So as far as getting in and out of the park, they're not running the trams right now. So wherever you park in the parking lot, you'll have to walk to the Bus and Transportation Center from there. There are parking cars every other spot. so that gives you plenty of times. How many times have you parked at the Magic Kingdom or one of the parks and you can't even get your door open, or you're, difficult trying to get the stroller out of the trunk and someone's pulling up behind you? So it's kind of nice having that little extra space there. The monorails are nice because it's one family per car, and when I say per car, they put a partition in between, because it's sort of two parts to that monorail. So there's a partition that goes in the middle, and they put one family on one side and one on the other, so that's nice. Or if you take the boat, there are places marked off as to where to stand, and they are loading the boats at a much less capacity as well. So you've got plenty of room to distance there. And for someone like me, I lean over the side and I breathe in all the fresh air. So you can do that as well very easily. As far as what to pack or bring with you, and of course there are so many things to pack and bring with you, but specific to the times that we're in, we brought our own sanitizer wipes, antibacterial lotion, just in case we needed it in the moment. And it wasn't right there. We didn't bring, but I wish we had brought our forks and knives, like a little fork and knife and napkin set. Again, that's to the extreme. If you don't worry about germs as much as I do, they of course provide forks and knives and napkins, plenty of it. But just if you're wanting to be that much safer, like for someone like me, bringing my own would have been the way to go. We had lunch. We got lunch at the bakery and then took a little table. There's a little courtyard right off Main Street. And we sat there and we had privacy and we were outside dining and felt very safe with that. But having our own fork and knife would have been good there. Water, snacks. We definitely needed water today. It was very hot outside, so we bring our own waters and snacks. The masks, of course, they don't do the gaiters anymore. So those are the ones that go around your neck and then you can just pull them up. They don't allow those. You have to have masks that I had my mother wear one of the, we call them painter's masks, but they're N95s. And we had her wear that today just to be extremely safe. But anything that goes over the ears and it's 2 layers of cotton is good enough. But you might want to bring a backup mask just in case yours isn't the standard that they're looking for. And then I always say eye protection. I wear glasses, so it's easy, but taking sunglasses, just something maybe to wear over your eyes. Again, just the germaphobe in me. I bring a little extra eye protection as well. Remember that Epcot and did I just say, yes, Hollywood Studios. I've been in Central Florida so long, I still sometimes think of it as MGM Studios, but Hollywood Studios and Epcot open July 15th. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom open today, July 11th. And so hopefully some of these things will help you when you plan your visit to one of the parks in the coming days. Hopefully, again, don't forget that you can get those reservations online on Disney's website. You cannot, even if you have tickets, you can't just show up and go to the park these days. You have to have those reservations. So make sure you get those. And don't forget that dining reservations are now open as well, so you can get those too. So that's it for me. We're gonna share a video on mycentralfloridafamily.com today. To be honest, and again, I'm the extreme, I felt pretty good. I didn't take the kids, so I can't speak to that extent as far as having kids with me today. But as far as a mom that really needed some magic in her life, we had a really great time. And it was nice to be out of the house. It was nice to just feel that magic. And if they wanted me to, I'd go back tomorrow. So it was a great time for us. But again, every family's different. So just make sure that, you ask the questions that you need, take a look at our video and make those decisions for yourself if it's the right move for you. And we will see you next time at My Central Florida Family.